This is the Tristan chord, which is actually a progression of 4 chords. And it is
Keith Horn's Chord of the Week.
The Tristan chord comes from Richard Wagner's 1865 opera Tristan and Isolde. It's based on an ancient Celtic legend. The story goes that Tristan is taking Isolde to marry his uncle, but she tries to kill Tristan with poison, but it turns out to be a love potion, and now they can't keep their hands off each other, which pisses off the king, and for a second it looks like we have yet another
love triangle.
But actually not, because no one's really confused about who they love. Fast forward, and everybody dies, Romeo and Juliet style.
Spoiler alert.
Which brings us to the Tristan chord. Now, the Tristan chord is usually referred to as one chord, but its purpose is actually a dominant prep or predominant leading to E7 through a series of 4 chords.
Four.
We start with an F half diminished chord. We raise the 3rd. Now we have an F7 flat 5, which then leads us to an E7 flat 5 that resolves to E7. If we condense it to a close voicing, it's easier to see what's happening. So your F half diminished, you raise the 3rd, drop the whole thing down a half step, and resolve the 5th. It's prepping the E7 from a half step above, which is very much like an augmented 6th chord, specifically the French 6th chord.
I don't know, Lloyd. The French are assholes.
But this is an even more chromatic extension of that concept. A French 6th is basically an augmented 6th chord, which is, if you take an E7 and go up a half step, that's basically what an augmented 6th chord is. It's this. Where you're preparing a dominant from a half step above. So if we have an F7 down to an E7, the F7 is essentially, that's the augmented 6th chord. A French 6th adds the flat 5 to that F7. And that's the 2nd chord of the Tristan progression. Right? That's a French 6th that sets up an E7 with like a flat 5 appoggiatura. So really the Tristan chord should be called the Tristan progression.
Is that a good idea?
And it leaves the listener with an unresolved feeling of tension because the composer is using a long-standing tradition of setting up a dominant sound. But he never resolves it. He never takes it here. He never resolves it. It's been described as expressing an almost ecstatic pain of unrequited love. And I don't know about you, but I've been there many times myself, especially in junior high after the Friday night dance. Why can't people just be nice and requite some of that love once in a while? I'm just saying it might relieve some suffering in the world with a little more of the requiting of the love. You know what I'm saying? Harmonically, this opera is known for its chromaticism and its tonal ambiguity, and is cited by many music scholars and historians as the piece of music that began the breakdown of tonal-based functional harmony, and laid the groundwork for the sound of the turbulent 20th century.
We're encountering a little mild turbulence.
So let's take the Tristan chord, or rather the Tristan progression, through some exercises. The first exercise is to take this as a closed voicing, and we'll start in the C, half diminished, and take the whole progression through the authentic cycle. So we'll start in C, go to F, B flat, E flat, etc. And that'll sound like this. Starting from C. F, B flat, E flat, A flat, D flat, F sharp, B, E, A, D, and G.
Lovely.
The second exercise is to take our open-voiced progression, exactly as it is, starting in C, and we'll go around the ascending augmented cycle, which is this. C augmented, F augmented, B flat augmented, and E flat augmented. Gets us through all 12 keys without using the circle of fifths in a circle. So that'll sound like this. Then from E, A flat, F, A, D flat, B flat, D, F sharp, and the last three, E flat, G, and B.
I'm impressed.
And if that exercise wasn't complicated enough, the third exercise is to resolve it. So if Wagner decided to resolve this, he would have done this. And maybe added a sixth or even a major seventh if he was feeling adventurous. So I'm going to take it around the circle of fifths in the authentic cycle like this, starting from C, setting up a B7, resolving to E minor, and then from F to E7 to A minor, and then from B flat, resolving to D, E flat, to D7, resolving to G, from A flat to G7, resolving to C.
Badass.
It is badass.
Now from D flat, C7, resolving to F, from F sharp, setting up F7, resolving to B flat, from B, B flat 7 to E flat. I'm just adding these color tones in here. Major 7. From E, E flat 7 to A flat minor. From A flat 7 to D flat minor. Sixth. From D flat 7, F sharp minor. And finally from G to F sharp 7, setting up B minor. With a major 7th just for fun.
Quite a workout.
So that last exercise is a doozy, but it illustrates what this video series is all about. Taking iconic voicings and progressions right out of their context and turning them into an exercise that you can incorporate into your own practice regimen and make it your own.
Mine.
So thanks for watching, thank you for listening, and happy practicing.
Yeah. Who this? This be yo, who this? Yo, who this? Who this?